What's up, everybody? It's your boy Hawk, and welcome to another episode of Hawk's Hoops. And I know the playoffs are right around the corner, but I kind of want to just peer past the playoffs for a quick moment and talk about the offseason. I know everyone's excited about Kevin Durant possibly leaving and Kawhi being a free agent and who's going to trade to get Anthony Davis, but I think there's a couple of all-star caliber guys who are going under the radar who could possibly be moved this season either via trade or just free agents altogether and could just sign to a new team and really have an impact going into next season. The first guy on my list, if he moves, it'd be via trade. Everyone else on my list is a free agent, whether that be a restricted free agent, unrestricted free agent, or potentially have a player option for this summer. But the first guy on my list that I want to talk about is Blake Griffin. Blake Griffin is having a career season, and I don't say that lightly. He's averaging 24 points this season, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists, shooting 36% from the three. He's really done a really great job of incorporating the three-point shot into his game this season. About a week or two ago, he made 9 threes in a game. He's done a lot for the Detroit Pistons this season to propel them into the playoffs this year. And I'm really excited for the Pistons. For me, especially last year and the year before that, I always felt that they were on the cusp of making the playoffs. And last season, they were the 9th seed in the East and just missed the playoffs. And this season, they're making playoffs for the first time since 2016, and Blake Griffin is being a huge part of that. But the issue with the Detroit Pistons is, although it's great to make the playoffs, don't get me wrong, teams should always be striving to make the playoffs, always striving to get better every season. But the way their payroll is set up and the players that they have signed, they're kind of in what I call NBA purgatory at the moment. Meaning they're a team who's always in contention for that 8 to 6 spot in the playoffs, but they're not going to be a team that you can foresee them being an actual title contender with the way they're set up now. And in my opinion, the Pistons have 2 ways they can go about this. They can really lock in and try to build around Blake Griffin and build for the future because he is under contract until 2020, or they can decide to trade him while his trade stock is pretty high and try to build for the future. And in my opinion, I think Blake Griffin could, get back some decent pieces in a trade. And personally, as much as I've enjoyed watching Blake Griffin this season, I definitely don't think he's the player that you can build around to create a championship. I think he'd be a great number 2 on a team that already has a superstar that's looking to, make a push for the championship. And not to feed into the hype, but both the Celtics and the Lakers are 2 teams that have a lot of trade assets and really should be fighting for, championship contention over the next couple of years. And I think he would be a good fit on both of those teams, depending on who they traded away to get him. The next guy on my list is someone who I've been campaigning all season. Follow me on Hawk's Hoops. But I've been campaigning for him all season to get out of his organization. And that's Kemba Walker. #free Kemba. Kemba Walker, once again, another guy who's having a career season. Currently, Kemba Walker is averaging 25 points, 5 assists, and 4 rebounds a game. He's been playing great basketball for the Hornets, putting up amazing numbers, had that 60-point blow up against the Sixers in the beginning of the season. He really stepped up a lot this season and really got a Hornets team that really doesn't have much on it after him to hopefully make the playoffs this season. Right now, while I'm recording this video, the Hornets aren't in the playoffs. They're currently the 9th seed. But if some things go their way of these next couple of games, if they win their games, if some teams lose some games, they can slide in the 8th seed, which I would love to see for him. I'd like to see Kemba in the playoffs because I'd like to just, see him on that stage. I think give him opportunity to play some more games to really show how great of a player he is. And 2, now Kemba's situation is a little interesting because technically the Hornets can offer him the most amount of money for, his next contract, whatever he's thinking about signing. Right now, the Hornets can offer him a 5-year, roughly $180 million deal, and everyone else can only offer him a 4-year, $140 million deal. So you're looking at about a difference of about $40 million. And it's a big if, but if he somehow makes an All-NBA team, then he'd be eligible for a Supermax deal, and that will touch over $200 million. He'd only be eligible for a Supermax with the Hornets. But for me personally, as a fan of the NBA and as someone who wants to see him succeed and be on a good team, I really, really, really hope he lets some of that money go and goes to try to get himself in a winning situation. At least a team that can make the playoffs on a consistent basis. The Hornets have fumbled the ball year after year when it comes to putting a winning team around Kemba Walker, and they haven't been in the playoffs since 2016. It's a lot of teams that's looking for a point guard this year. And to be honest with you, I'd take him on the Sixers, but that means we have to get rid of Ben Simmons, and I don't know if I'd be upset with that right now. But that's a different topic for a different day. Next all-star this list is Nikola Vukovich from the Orlando Magic. He's currently putting up 20 points, 12 rebounds on 36% shooting from 3, but he only really attempts 3 a game, so he's not someone to really stretch the floor all the way, but you have to respect his shot if he's out there. He's a really solid center in today's NBA. He's a 20 and 10 guy every night. He's got the Magic in the playoffs this year for the first time since 2012. He's also an unrestricted free agent, so he can go and chase his bag and get wherever he can get. I don't think he's valued as high as someone like Kemba Walker, so I don't know if a lot of teams around the league would be willing to throw a max contract his way. Even the team is currently on, the Orlando Magic, I don't know if they'd want to throw a max contract his way because they're also in what I call NBA purgatory. They're not really a great team, but they're a solid team. They made the playoffs this year, like I said, first time since 2012, which is huge for them. It's great for the organization, it's great for the city, and it's great to, build that winning culture. But they also have like 30 big men on their team. So I don't know if they want to continue building around Vukovich or let him walk and kind of retool. They have Mobamba down there and try to maybe retool around him. Coming up next on my list is probably, I don't know why, but I've really enjoyed watching him this season. I just really enjoyed his story and the things he's been through and the road he's had to take to get to where he at. And that's ice in my veins, D'Angelo Russell. D'Lo is currently averaging 21 points, 7 assists, and 3 rebounds. And while those numbers may not jump at you, for me, it's just his consistent level of play throughout the whole season and his leadership and stepping up to help lead this Brooklyn Nets team to the playoffs for the first time since 2015. Now, the thing about D'Angelo Russell that's different from the other guys I've mentioned, that he is a restricted free agent, meaning the Brooklyn Nets have the opportunity to match any contract that's offered to him from another team. And as long as they match that contract, he has to stay a Brooklyn Net. But to be honest with you, I'm not really mad at him staying a Brooklyn Net because the Brooklyn Nets showed potential this year. I'm not going to say they showed potential to be a title contender, but they definitely aren't in what I would call NBA purgatory, like I mentioned as the Orlando Magic and the Detroit Pistons. The Brooklyn Nets for a good chunk of the season were up there in the 4th, 3rd seed in the East. But they suffered a lot of injuries this season. Spencer Dinwiddie went down for a lot of games. Karis LeVert went down for a lot of games. If they come back healthy next year, I'm really okay with them running it back and seeing what they can do again, because they'll also still have a little bit of money to go out and sign somebody else this offseason while keeping D'Lo here. D'Angelo Russell's really been through it the last couple of seasons. Not nothing crazy traumatic, but he got traded from the Lakers to the Nets when they drafted Lonzo Ball. Magic Johnson went on record saying he's not really a leader, and he just really proved this season that he can lead a team to the playoffs, and it's just really exciting to see. Now, the last guy on my list may be a little controversial, and this may be a stretch. You may say, Hawk, you're reaching on this one. Your first 4 I understand, but this one you're reaching and you're wilding a little bit. And that's okay. If that's how you feel, that's how you feel. But the last guy I want to talk about today is Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson will be an unrestricted free agent this summer, and I'll agree. It's a stretch to think Klay Thompson may actually leave the Warriors, but it's something we got to talk about because it's not impossible. I've heard 2 things come out of Klay Thompson's camp over the course of the season. On one hand, we're hearing that, Klay Thompson wants to be a Warrior for the rest of his career. He loves the Bay Area. And on the other hand, he's saying, hey, I ain't giving y'all no discount, so y'all better show up with that bag or I might leave. It's interesting to me because we already know, the Warriors have a lot of people leaving this year. You got Boogie a free agent, you got KD a free agent, you got Klay a free agent. It's already speculated that this is going to be KD's last season with the Warriors. A bunch of people think he's going to go to the Knicks. But say he decides to stay. Say he says, you know what? I don't want to go nowhere. I don't care what people think about me. I want a max contract with the Warriors. If you're the Warriors, who you giving a max contract to? Kevin Durant or Klay Thompson? Now, I don't really know. Klay Thompson is a huge part of that system, and he's really what makes them tick, in my opinion. I said before that if you watch the games closely, it's always Klay Thompson who they try to get going first because he's kind of the real catalyst of that team, in my opinion. But if, it's a big if, and I'm probably sounding crazy, if KD wants to stay, I'm pretty sure every GM in the league is going to sign KD before they sign Klay. So if they don't throw the full max at Klay, a lot of people saying he probably going to leave, and the team that they're saying he might go to that's probably going to give him a max because they probably won't actually sign any other superstars are the Los Angeles Lakers. What makes Klay's situation really interesting too, if he somehow makes an all-NBA team, he'll be eligible for a supermax contract that'll touch 5 years, over $200 million. I doubt he'll get that because I don't think he'll make an all-NBA team this year, but it's a possibility as well. That being said, let me know what you guys think about my list. Is there anyone else who will be a free agent this year or you think could be moved this year that people aren't really talking about, that mainstream media isn't really focusing on, but could have a huge impact if they go to the right team for next season? If you enjoyed the video, feel free to give it a like, subscribe if you want to see more, follow me on Instagram at Hawks Hoops, and I'll catch you on the next one. I'm out. Peace.